Hello, this is Pastor Jones. I want to spend about 5 minutes with you today, and I want to pick up where I left off last week as I begin to talk to you about the prescription for happiness, something everybody wants, everybody's looking for, but so many don't find. And the first thing that I was addressing are things that you don't want to happen or do in your life if you want to really be happy. I gave you 8 things last week. I'm going to start with number 9 today. Don't live in the past. There's some people that can't somehow break loose of that. They're always living in the yesterday, and a lot of times in very negative situations and circumstances. Don't live in the past. It's not whether or not you were ahead in the third or fourth inning. Where are you now? Where are you right now? Philippians 3:14 says, I press towards the mark. We got to keep going. We got to keep living. We got to keep making a difference. Don't live in the past if you want to be happy. Number 10, don't be lazy. Oh, I tell you, I'm somebody that this really bothers me, because by the time I was 12 years old, just almost 13, I was working as a caddy at the golf course. I've never known a time in my life that I've not worked and strived to carry a load, so to speak. Laziness is not part of what God has planned for you and I. And laziness does not bring happiness. Hebrews 6:12 says, be not slothful. God hates laziness. If you want to be happy, don't be lazy. Number 11 rather, don't make a habit of borrowing. Debt is not faith. Proverbs 22 and verse 7 says this, the borrower is a servant of the lender. Listen, if anybody ought to be able to handle money properly, it's the believer. But sometimes even believers get themselves up to their eyeballs in debt. Be careful on how you spend your money. Be careful about the debt that you take on, and make sure whatever you take on in regards to debt, get it paid off as quickly as possible, because the borrower, listen, what's the word of God says, is a servant to the lender. Number 12, don't laugh at the mistakes of other people, because it's likely that you might make that same mistake down the road if you're not careful. Matthew 7:12 says, therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even to them. Do you want people to make fun of your mistakes and to put you down? I don't think so. So stop doing it to others if you really want to find true happiness. Number 13, don't be boisterous. Don't be boisterous. Ecclesiastes 7:6 says, as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of a fool. Cut-ups are usually out of place. Learn to keep your mouth, can I be so bold to say this? Learn to keep your mouth shut. Number 14, don't talk incessantly. Proverbs 10:19 says, he that refraineth his lips is wise. Listen and learn. In my earlier years as a young preacher, when I got into the presence of older ministers, I would sit there at the table with them with a cup of coffee, and I would listen, because I wanted to learn from their experiences. Stop talking and learn to listen. You'll be happy for it. Number 14, or 15 rather, don't be a nuisance. Proverbs 25:17. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee. You know what? It's possible to where you're welcome out. Don't do it. Number 16, don't be a show-off. Proverbs 12:23 says, a prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of the fool proclaimeth foolishness. Don't tell everybody what you know if you want to be happy. And then lastly, don't be afraid. Fear paralyzes. faith vitalizes. Jesus said, "Fear not, but only believe." Next week, we're going to look at the things you need to do if you want to be happy. I hope I've given you something to think about today, because happiness is every one of our goals. God bless until I see you again.